Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva, episode number 205 of the podcast. And let me tell you this, we are the second week in to the new year, and already I'm kind of sick. It's just extraordinary, not in a good way either. This is not a good extraordinary. This is a very bad extraordinary. But if you can tell, my voice, I'm a little under the weather. Nothing major, nothing scary, nothing, out of the ordinary. Just a normal ass head cold. But I will tell you this, it is annoying. These head colds that have been going around the workplace, my family, I've been dodging, dip, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodging it. Pretty much the entire season that people were getting sick. People were getting sick before Christmas, a little after Christmas, and I was in the thick of it. I was in the trenches. I was seeing people. I was near people. I was with people. Right next to people that were sick. Side by side with them, sharing their air, breathing their air in their little bubble. Up close with them. And they were getting sick. They were feeling it. They were not feeling good. And I was there just like, look at me. I'm just, I never bragged about it. I was never like, I am, inevitable. I don't get sick. I wasn't throwing it in their face like, oh, you're sick? Get better. But I was thinking to myself ooh, I'm not getting sick. Maybe this flu shot really does work. Maybe it's actually real and it actually does prevent you from getting sick. Now, to be fair, none of these people had the flu. They were just had a head cold. And I was sort of avoiding it, But now that's caught up with me, and now I have what they had. Basic stuff, nasal congestion, runny nose, drainage in the back of your throat, that type of stuff. Nothing too crazy, nothing too, like I said, worrisome, just pretty much annoying, at this point. And people who call out, when they get this type of sick, y'all just not grown men. Not saying I know people that do or have been around people that have called out because of this. But if you call out of school or work because of this, you're a baby. You're just a baby and you just got to grow up because this is nothing. This is not this. I'm not aching. I'm not bedridden. I'm not fatigued. I'm just kind of pissed off and annoyed because I have this. That's all it is. And to be honest, I do kind of look, down on people who do, abandon their responsibilities because of something like this. It's so silly, I'm bringing in the new year, right? And I'm already pissed off at that because I think that that's just silly and not really a very redeeming quality of the person for you to call out or not show up to your job because of a little inconvenient illness that is like this. Men back in the day fought war with a runny nose, right? They sieged castles. They stormed the beaches with a runny nose, with a with a cough. Grown men calling out to work because of the sniffles? You got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Take some pride, responsibility. You have a job to do that must be done, that needs to be done. So do it. I don't know. I just think that's always been kind of a bitch move, if I'm being completely honest. Grow up, be a man, do it. We're men, we're not boys. We get things done. We don't run away from our problems. We head on it. We run straight at them head first. into the fire. That's kind of like one of my New Year's resolutions, and maybe just a life resolution now that I think about it, just to run straight into the fire, into the problem, take it on head on. I don't give a damn, how hard it is. I don't care how difficult it might be. I don't care how many odds are stacked up against me and this problem. It will be done, and I will get it done. And when it comes to being quote unquote sick, I mean, I'm not sick. I'm just a little banged up. That's all. I really do take also. I love. You guys know me, right? I love sports. I love watching sports. I love when like athletes are banged up and they still play or are still able to play the game or multiple games when they're lingering with injuries. When they have injuries that are lingering, my bad, that hurt. You know, I'm no athlete, right? I'm not an athlete. I don't play sports. I wish I was an athlete because I feel like a sports team would love somebody like me on their team who was willing to do pretty much anything for the team to win, to succeed. I would be a number one draft pick if it wasn't for athletic ability, but for sheer will and determination. Like if there was a draft based on will and determination and grit, I would be the number one draft pick. I would be. There's nobody else out there that I think has will, determination as much as I do, you boy. So I would be number one draft pick. But the reason why I love those athletes that don't quit, that try to get back out there on the field when they're a little banged up, maybe they tweaked an ankle, maybe they, got the wind knocked out of them. Hell, I've seen players who have like broken ribs, bruised bones, or bruised like muscle tissue that are in a lot of pain. And they still go back there on the field and try their damnedest to help out their team. That to me is beautiful. Like, it's just beautiful, because they're in so much pain. Now, I have sprained an ankle before. Not in a competition. I was fucking around on a soccer field, kicking the ball around with my friends. And my ankle found its way into an uneven area of the field and twisted. And I heard a and I was like, oh hell, that is not good. This was years ago. I would say maybe 10 years ago. And I heard that, I felt that, and my God, it hurt so bad. Like I was in so much pain. And I rode my bike to the field with my friends to play soccer. To just not even like competitively. Just to pass the ball, just to kick the ball into the goal. Have someone be in the goalie or in the net, and then I would just shoot the ball. A couple other guys, and just fucking around, hanging brain. I try a little bit more athletic stuff than I should be. Again, this was 10 years ago, so I was 21. So I was much younger back then. Much more spry, athletic, full of energy. And I tried to do some wacky moves. And like I said, my ankle just found the uneven ground. One could say a hole in the field. And I heard a and then down I go. And then I get back up and I try to walk on it. And it looks all right. It feels fine. It feels all right. Not like 100%, but it does, feel a little banged up. So I'm like, I decide, you know what? I should probably go home, and maybe rest this motherfucker. That way I can feel better. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, right? I'm riding my bike back home. Big mistake. I could drive at this point. Why didn't I just take my car? But no, I wanted to feel young, adventurous, like I was from the fucking Goonies or something, riding my bike everywhere, and I decided to ride my bike there. Huge mistake. I had to ride back. You know, when you fuck up an ankle like that, by the way, you see NFL players do it. You see basketball players mess up their ankle. They're not putting much weight on that motherfucker. They have a training staff, a medical staff. Sometimes, if it's that bad, they help them off the field or the court, hobbling on one foot. Not me. I rode my bike back in sheer pain and anguish. I don't remember crying on that day, but I wouldn't be surprised if I did because I was in a lot of pain. I took my sorry ass back home. I undressed. I showered. It was painful. Propped up my leg, and I noticed, oh boy, it was swelling bad, swelling big time. So what did I do? Well, I Googled, what do I do if I mess up an ankle? And of course, the acronym for it is RICE, which is rest. Obviously, not gonna go do much more athletic things. I got a messed up ankle. Rest, ice, compression, and elevate. That spells RICE. So I started to do that. And you know what? I don't understand how some NFL players can get back on the field when they, for one, get rolled up on much more gruesome injuries than I got that day. Are you able to go full speed after that? I was in pain. I think I was kind of lucky because I had it was on the weekend, so I had a day before I had to go back to school to actually rest it and try to get my full strength back, which it took longer than that one day, the rest, to get it back. But I was able to kind of take it easy that next day and not do much and really focus on resting it, which I did. And then it took me a while to get back to full speed. I never went to a doctor. I just kind of did that rice thing, every day, or tried to as best as I could, before I had to go back to school, eventually work. And then it just kind of, I moved on with my life. I went forward. I pushed through, and I did the best that I could. And my ankle now looks completely normal, but it has a pop almost every time I take a step, or no pain at all, no pain whatsoever, but a pop, crack whenever I move, maneuver, pivot, shift. It does happen. I can't lie. You can hear me walking a mile away because of that. I've been called out and is that your knee? No, that's my ankle. I messed it up when I was young, but at least now I have a story to tell. I got a story that I could tell other people that I meet, that I was not going to be a wimp about it, that I was just going to, I'm not going to go to a doctor, even though I probably should have. Maybe get some crutches or something. I don't know. Maybe it would actually get rid of this popping sound in my ankle. But then again, that's a quality that I will no longer have, even though that is probably better that I don't have that. Anyways, that's not the point of the story. The point is, when these players get banged up or are playing through injuries, those boys, those men, just care a little more than others do. And those people are who you want to be with, not just in a game, and not just in your job, but just around your life in general. As much as we like to separate our jobs from our life, right? For the most part in our week, the most time that we spent is at our jobs. So we just kind of become, we just kind of live our life as our job in a way. And you kind of build like a discipline, an outlook, a viewpoint. You gain a viewpoint in your life through the perspective of your job on not just people, but your coworkers, your bosses, things you have to do, because a job is not just kicking back, right? It's work. And work is inherently not supposed to be fun. Sometimes you can get a job that's fun and it's your job. And you're just blessed. You struck the lottery. You hit the lottery, you struck gold, right? But for most people, jobs are not typically fun. Not for the most part very fun. In fact, they can be pretty challenging. And the challenge is a beautiful thing. Not just in work, but in anything, right? Because it requires you to rise above, to man up, to actually do something, get something done. That sense of accomplishment, right? It is a thing that you might not like to do, you may not enjoy to do. You might need to find another one, perhaps, but at the same time, hey, if we're here, let's get it done. We're here, we're in it. There was a beautiful quote. I believe it was from because I'm watching Hard Knocks on the AFC North, and it was a player on the Steelers. This is like maybe 4 weeks ago, and they were just like, this is just like some audio from like them on the bench before the game even started. I think it was Cam Ward. No, not Cam Ward. Cam Hayward from the Steelers, and he said something that was so simple and so true and like beautiful in the same way. He said, and I might be paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure this is exactly what he said. He said, "Man, this is a beautiful day. We have jobs." No, he said, "We're alive. We have jobs. And we got shit to do." And that was before the game. And that kind of stuck with me, if I'm being honest, because, yeah, we're alive. It's beautiful. We have jobs. We should be thankful for that, right? And we got shit to do. And, man, that to me was just like a whoa. Like, that is so simple. So simple, to the point. And essentially, that's what life is, right? Like, life is just like we're alive, we have jobs, and we got shit to do. Imagine, like, not having all of that, right? Being alive, not having a job, and not having shit to do. So what's going on with that, I wouldn't even know what that is. Just bumming, But that those three things that he said just kind of stuck with me. And I was like, wow, that's like so basic, so simple, yet so powerful on how to look at your life, your day-to-day process, and the job that you have to do. Yeah, you might not like it, but you can make it a better experience if you have the right mindset. And that to me was like the perfect mindset to set yourself up in, to set yourself up for, in order to tackle your day, whatever that may be, to succeed and win the day. It's not like these weak-minded people that come across a challenging thing or a thing that they don't want to be a part of and just whine and cry and run away from it. That to me is just like so annoying, unprofessional, um, childish. Very, very, very childish and just annoying to deal with. And it's just because they're not in the right. It's not the right mindset. I think that the mindset that this man that I have no recollection of, no connection whatsoever. I just saw him on a show, right? But that was just so simple, and it just kind of stuck with me. And I've always kind of now just looked at it in that light and just kind of take every day like that, every challenge like that. Hey, we're alive, we have jobs, and we got shit to do. That's it. That's all we can do. That's all you can really, look at it and just tackle the task at hand. It's beautiful, So that's gonna just be also segueing into my I guess my New Year's resolution is just to be a man, do your job and don't complain, focus on success, accomplishment, and don't be a whiny baby. Don't run away from your problems. Take them head on, and then win. Essentially, just win. That's like the best thing you can do. So yeah, that's me. I'm getting through this head cold. Not gonna be a baby about it. I haven't taken any medicine really. I've normally just been taking drinking a ton of water, a ton of electrolytes, and working out still. And thank God that the new year has turned, because now I'm in a mindset that kind of was dampened, I would say, a lot in the month of December. A mindset that wasn't really my choice, but also just the fact that I was busy, had things going on, events, activities, holidays, shopping, a lot of delicious food being made at my house that is, while delicious, not healthy for you whatsoever. Consuming vast quantities amount of that food day in and day out. Now that food is gone, now that the year has turned, it's a little bit more sunnier now too. You get the urge to get back into, or at least for me, I get back into my fitness days and go even harder than ever before while working out and trying to maintain a fit physique that I have worked so hard for. And I will say this, they say that you do gain weight during the holidays. That is completely true. You do. Not just because of all the food, but for me, all the things that I had to do, busy schedule, work, play, family, friends, events. I went to Disneyland, for a few days. Had some time off, family members coming over. Again, delicious food. But now I'm back in a super disciplined mindset to try to get even more fit than I was in the past year. And I think that so far, since the year has turned, I have worked out a lot of the days, in a row. Take a couple rest days. Don't fuck around that much. Staying disciplined. Still meal prepping every day. And eating better food. And not trying to eat so much or as late as, I have in the past. But I'm feeling good about myself. I'm feeling pretty good. I feel pretty strong. I've since kind of up the ante on my weightlifting regime, or not regime, but regiment, and feeling better, which is good. I was actually kind of sad at that point that I was kind of lacking in my fitness discipline, at the end of the year last year. And it does kind of take a hold on you. You do kind of get a little bit of a damn, I'm falling behind. Damn, I'm not keeping up with my physique, not keeping up with my routines, really slacking. And then you almost kind of slip away. You want to slip away and you want to kind of just like, you not work out, kind of just like take a nap. That does creep up on you. I'll be honest. You kind of just don't want to go to the gym. I usually go after work and it's just like, oh, do I want to? No. Should I? Absolutely. And you do. And then you feel better about yourself. And then you win the day, right? So a couple times that was kind of creeping in, towards the end of the year. But now, once the new year turned, you kind of get like a new mindset, a new perspective, a fresh new, vision. Your vision clears, and then you're just like, ooh, what did I just say before? We're alive, we have jobs, and we got shit to do. And that just kind of appeared in the sky, in the clouds, that whole quote, in the clouds. And I looked up and I was just like, whoa, that's right. It's time to get shit done. And I love that about the year. I love that about the new year. Especially this new year. This new year feels special. This new year feels like, whoa, I feel it. I feel it in my heart, in my soul, in my brain. I feel it. And I was just like, dude, man, oh man, I cannot give up. And I just kept going. And I felt good about myself. I will also tell you this. One thing that has really kind of kept me, I wouldn't say sane, but has kept me well entertained throughout the new year and since it came out. And I've kind of, been busy with everything in a while, in my life. But whenever I can go back to it, I always have a lot of fun when I can. And that's playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And that game is, first of all, like I've said in the past, it's beautiful. Like if you're an Indiana Jones fan, it's a beautiful game. It's like everything that you want in an Indiana Jones game, from the adventure, the history / archaeology aspects, locations. Indiana Jones himself is incredible. The characters that you meet along the way, the stuff that he has to do, the mysteries, the uncovering stuff, the all the tie-ins from everything that you discover and all that. It's just beautiful. I mean, I love the game so much, and it just kind of made me realize too, for me at least, we're all kind of like, we love like superheroes, right? We love like Superman, at least I do. Batman, Spider-Man, Captain America. We love those type of characters, right? They're all superheroes. But Indiana Jones has to be just like the all-time like best like hero ever. Because he's not super. He's just like an archaeologist that just wants to preserve stuff in the museum where they belong so people can see the history, right? And he doesn't have any powers and just kind of just does good shit and is cool while he does it. To me, like, he's like the ultimate hero in like American like pop culture. Like, and I just think that's so freaking cool about him. And he's just a cool dude, I'll be honest. Like, so whenever I get a chance to just like play that game, whenever I can, I'm like, dude, this character's Indiana Jones is just the best. He is the best, And since I've started, I haven't gotten much further because the game is so like enticing and inviting for you to do other things besides the main adventure. Like at every turn that you walk in that game, there's like newer things and other things that you can do besides the actual main quest. And it's just like, wow, this game is so bad for me because I am a guy who plays these games and just wanders around and does so many side stuff and so many side quests that I forget about the main quest. And I try to complete the side stuff before the main stuff, before I even tackle the main stuff. And it's come and it's bitten me in the ass yet again with this game. I didn't know how big it was going to be in the first place, but now that I'm playing it, now that I'm, I'm about like maybe 4.5 hours in, and I'm still in like the one of like the opening locations, and I haven't really budged that much. I'm getting a little worrisome about myself. Like I might be a little too completionist, little too like much of a side quest guy, trying to do all the tasks, trying to find all the artifacts, all the clues, all the mysteries, all the notes. That I'm just kind of getting not stuck, but just not moving forward. I'm having a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I love the game so much. But at what point do I just say, like, you know what? It's time to kick it up into warp speed and blaze through this thing. Now, I don't want to do that, so I probably won't. So, I mean, it's just kind of like an inner battle that I have with myself. Like, I probably should, because I know a lot of my friends are the opposite. They'll do some of the side stuff, but then they'll just focus on the main stuff and just complete the game. Maybe I should do that, try to do that. I don't know, but I just feel like I'm having way, way, way too much fun finding out all these mysteries and doing the side stuff because, I mean, this is just so much fun to me. I'm living out like not a dream, not a fantasy, but just like a thing that I never thought I would like to do playing an Indiana Jones game because I never played. There's been many in the past that I have never like barely heard of any of them. I've seen a couple, but I've never actually wanted to play them, But now that I'm playing an Indiana Jones game where I feel like I'm Indiana Jones, it's just like, huh, I never thought that I knew this or that I needed this, but I do. And it's so welcoming. It's a beautiful game. I mean, like, for real, like, I'm having so much fun with it that I don't want to stop, taking the long route to play this game because it just has brought so much joy and not excitement, but like just so much fun. It's just a fun game to play. I'm actually a little worried though for the gaming future. And it's not because of Indiana Jones, not one bit. But it's about a type of game that has taken the world by storm. And I think that it is this is a wake-up call to gamers, to game developers, and this is a prediction that I am going to put out there, that we need to be very, very, very careful of where we are heading in terms of video games, and not just video games, with the future of multiplayer video games, where we are heading. There's this game out there called Marvel Rivals. If you haven't heard about it, it has a bunch of Marvel superhero characters in it, and it is a hero shooter game, which is not like your typical Call of Duty, 6v6 type of shooter. It is a ability / role type shooter game where every character has different traits, attributes on how to accomplish a goal against the other team, and the better team that can use the characters in the correct way against the other team wins the game. And this all sounds, great, right? This all sounds like something that would make a lot of sense. Would get a lot of players to play this type of game because it's not like any other. I mean, it is a copy of Overwatch, but it has gained so much more speed in terms of popularity and sheer enjoyment and player count than Overwatch has even dreamed of. And what my fear is that this game is becoming so big, everybody's playing it, everybody's having a good time, that companies out there like even Activision, Halo, EA are looking at what's going on with Marvel Rivals and will begin the great migration to creating their version of hero shooters like Marvel Rivals. And no pun intended, to rival Marvel Rivals. I am actually worried about this. I'm scared because while Marvel Rivals is a fun game, I have played it. It is fun. It is also a very, very, very brain dead game. It does not require any skill. It does not require too much to get good, right? It doesn't require too much skill. It really is just a brain dead game that you can boot up, get with a couple buddies, and have some actually mindless fun, right? For hours and hours and hours until you're like, all right, I gotta go eat, right? So my fear is that other games will be copying this idea, like in Call of Duty, Halo, Battlefield, even some other games that you probably never even thought would try to do this. And that this is going to be the new age of multiplayer gaming, which is hero arena shooter. I said this before a couple weeks ago. Battle Royale is dead. It's dead. And no one plays them anymore. Since this game has come out, this is all people are playing. Is it because of the Marvel character catalog? Is it because it's just pure more fun? Is it because of how many characters, their abilities, their skins, the things that you can buy? I don't know what it is exactly. I can't pinpoint the exact reason, but it should worry you, and it sure as hell worries me a lot. Because this game is also free. It costs no money to play whatsoever. It is driven by microtransactions, battle passes, skins, operators, It is driven by that. And as much as I enjoy and like to play free games, I mean, who doesn't? I know the repercussions and the consequences when you invite free games into your world. They will find ways to limit your fun. They will find ways to barricade you from having the optimum fun that you could possibly have in this game. Let's say you're somebody, right, who likes the character Captain America, like myself, right? Now, the Captain America skin that is in this game is pretty cool, right? He looks cool. He looks like Captain America. But let's say that they put out a different skin for Captain America, right? Let's say they put out a skin for Captain America when he's in World War II, when he's looking like a soldier. Still got his shield on, but he's wearing the army fatigues. He's got the cool helmet with the star on it and stuff like that, or the A, and he's looking all pimpin', right? Now, I'm having fun playing with Captain America in his basic skin, but in your brain, you're thinking like, but I would have more fun playing with Captain America back when he was in World War II. They're barricading your fun. They've already put in a barrier, and that barrier is called more fun. Pay $20 to open it. And then you're thinking to yourself like, whoa, games are worth $70. This one skin is almost a third of that. One skin is almost a third of the price of an entire AAA game that you could buy. Folks, we're in trouble. I mean, like, we were in trouble a long time ago, but now we're even in more trouble, like never before. This is only going to make things a lot worse, a lot worse, because oh boy, I mean, you really can't even you can't comprehend at all, like how bad this is for the community, for the business. The success of this game is, I mean, is is detrimental to the future of gaming. We will. I'm telling you this right now. We will be seeing every other game out there have one of these type of games. Every single one's gonna have one. Like I said, Battle Royale is dead. This is taking off. It's a shame because Overwatch was the one that kind of made it more popular. And some people would say like League of Legends, but that alienated a lot of people who did not have PCs. This game is on console and PC. So you're going to get more people playing it than ever before, than League of Legends ever dreamt of. So, and the fact that it's Marvel, superheroes, in America, I mean, because let's be honest, Marvel is, as bad as they are with their movies, they're still like the fucking kings of like pop culture right now. It's sad to say that, but they are. Even though they shouldn't be. They don't deserve to be at all. So you bet your fucking ass that all these fucking kids out there that like Marvel movies are gonna want to play a fucking Marvel game. And it's fucking worked perfectly. Like, they are playing it, they're eating it up. I mean, this game it actually terrifies me. How big and popular that it's gotten, and how everybody is playing it ad nauseum, so many hours. I can't tell you how many memes, clips, videos I've seen on X about this fucking game. It's driving me insane, and it's not good. It's not going to be good because every other game, like I said before, is going to copy it, and what is that going to do? It's going to make them lazier than they already are. A lot lazier. A lot lazier because now they've created something that is a guaranteed cash cow. It used to be Battle Royale. But guess what? This is probably more easier to make, to develop, than a Battle Royale itself. Right? 6v6, dudes with different powers going at it for either like a team deathmatch mode, an extraction mode, escort mode, simple modes, capture the flag, the things that have already been done in so many games before that. This is nothing new. This is just different powers and different abilities and different character skins. That's all it is. So this is essentially a much less player count per game. Like, I mean, this is going to be a wrap. It's over. I can just picture now Call of Duty doing the same thing. They'll have like characters like Ghost, Soap, Mason, Woods from their entire catalog of characters having different abilities, and in this arena shooter, hero shooter, environment, I could just see it now. It'll be called like Call of Duty's Special Operatives, mode, where you face off against iconic Call of Duty characters with their own abilities in the same exact modes as we've had in the past, just now in a hero shooter vibe. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I played it, but it's nothing worth preaching and like kneeling before God and thanking him for. It's not that good. It's fun, but it's like not like I needed this to survive. Like, I need this for my happiness. If that's your case, something's not correct here, and that should not be happening. That's just weird. But the point is, this is taking over. It's already taken over. It's spreading, and it's not stopping. They're going to add the Fantastic Four extremely, extremely soon. this game's gonna have so many characters that it could kill itself. Let's be honest, if they add too many. The only thing that would actually kill this if the game actually becomes so unbalanced that the players are just disgusted by what has happened, like how many characters that they have, that they just don't have the manpower to balance all these characters out and make the game fun. But at the moment, I mean, they're striking while the iron's hot. You know, I have never seen, so many people talk about the Fantastic Four on X because it was trending on X hard, and it's not even about a movie. It's about characters being put into a video game, into Marvel Rivals, right? The Fantastic Four, and people are fucking going crazy about it because of just, I don't know. It's just wild, right? It's wild, and it's almost like, how could this have happened? It's just insane to think of how this has happened so quickly. That this game has just spread its influence everywhere, from the game itself to social media, memes, videos, clips, everything. It's just like it really does not make any sense on how this took hold so quickly. Marvel characters are not new. We've had these characters for a long time. We've had them in video games for a long time, but put them in the situation and give them a situation to thrive in a mode, in a game mode that I thought nobody would give a fuck about, right? An arena hero shooter, right? Overwatch died. Those other games just have their niche audiences, but this one in particular has been able to capture every fucking gamer that I know. It's sick. It's unheard of. It is just, I just don't know. I can't fathom how this happened, but it's happened, and it's borderline, borderline a national disaster to gaming and to the gaming community and to the business, because I know what's going to happen in the future. I know what's going to happen. It will happen. Everyone's going to see the success and they're going to copy it. And then we're going to be another dystopia of gaming where there's only one mode to play, and that one mode is arena shooters. It used to be battle royales. Now it's going to be arena hero shooters. It's over, man. I can't believe it, but it's actually over. Reporting to you live, right here, right now. The future is bleak, dark for video games. Now that I think about it, there is a company that is about to go under, who has a lot of properties, who has a lot of video games in their catalog that have a lot of beloved characters and a lot of beloved games that, I'll be honest, I could see them putting something together in a couple months to try to save their ass. They did it they tried to put something out last year that tried to kill Call of Duty. It didn't work. Maybe they try again this year to put something out that is an arena hero shooter with all of their characters. You know who I'm talking about. Could this be Ubisoft's one last hope to survive? Seems like the perfect type of game to make for them, to try to survive, to try to make some sort of profit. I know X Defiant did not do very well. In fact, it crashed and burned. But hey, maybe you strike while the iron's hot. Marvel Rivals is killing. You have a lot of characters, a lot of properties. Hell, you can put in Ezio, Altair, Sam Fisher, Far Cry, all those fuckers. Ghost Recon, Division. I'm just saying, and don't be surprised if they put one out there like in the middle of this year. Boom, Ubisoft's hero shooter. Don't be surprised. That could happen. This company's about to die, Totally possible for them to do that. I'm just saying. Now that I thought about it and I brainstormed, right now my brain's a hurricane. And I mean, this could happen for sure. This could be their last ditch effort, their last hurrah to save themselves. But moving on though, the NFL season has concluded, and we now have our playoff matchups. But I want to talk to you first about the repercussions of the end of the season and the teams that unfortunately did not have good seasons and what has happened to their teams. That's right, I'm talking about coach firings. And it started with well, I don't think it started with, but the notable ones that I will mention: Doug Peterson from the Jacksonville Jaguars fired. I honestly thought he was going to be fired months ago, to be honest, because it seemed like that whole team was a disaster. Even with Trevor Lawrence on the field, it was never really a good team that you saw on the field. Nothing really improved. In fact, it kind of got worse and has been getting worse since he got there. But I'm surprised that he was allowed to complete the season. I guess that's a good thing as a coach, right? That, you kind of stayed the course, even though you did not have the good, the best situation that you could have possibly had. Maybe not the best players you could have had. Maybe not the players that you wanted at the time. But you were able to complete your season and not get fired midway through the season I'll give it an accomplishment, I guess. More like just you're doing your job, even though you know it's not going to end well. Other firings around the league: Gerard Mayo from the Patriots, one and done in New England, which, I mean, let's be honest. The team wasn't very good to start, really, at all. You can't really, the line was bad. The quarterbacks were not very good. The decision to go with Jacoby Brissett from the beginning of the season was really strange to me, because you drafted Drake May, I believe, number 3 overall, and you didn't start him week 1. He had no injuries, no holdbacks, nothing. Just, you thought Jacoby Brissett was going to be your starting quarterback, which he did win you some games, maybe a game now I think about it. But, I mean, why even, why draft him if you're not going to use him? That to me was already the start of like dysfunction and not being on the same page, from ownership to the coaches on the Patriots. And what was so strange about the entire thing with Gerard Mayo is that there was an interview like maybe in week 3 of the NFL, and the owner, Robert Kraft, was saying that he had already picked Gerard Mayo to be the next head coach of the Patriots 5 years ago. Fast forward to now, he's one and done. 1 year, fired, that's all. Doesn't seem right. It seems like he was trying to save his ass to make a narrative of like, I always had this guy pictured as the Patriots head coach. I always saw it in him. It just kind of seems weird, to say something like that. And now you see it, the repercussions of the season, one and done, out as the head coach. Now they're in active search. People are saying it's going to be Mike Vrabel, who was a Patriot before, played on those teams with Brady and Belichick. And, you kind of feel like, he is the guy to become the next head coach of the New England Patriots. But Gerard Mayo was on those teams as well. He was a Patriot, for so many years as well. And they hired him. So this is what's so weird about it to me is like they thought that they said that they had their guy in Gerard Mayo, right? Because he was a long-term Patriots player and he was, part of the Patriot way, and he, worked under Belichick and all that, and he was going to be the next guy to take Belichick's place. It falls out and the season's bad, but you don't have a good team. You fire him, You're gonna go hire another guy in Vrabel who has head coaching experience and was a Patriot and is a part of the Patriot way, and he's the guy. My one thing that I could see what separates Mayo from Vrabel is that Vrabel has been a head coach in the league for a while and has had head coaching experience, and that would actually make him more qualified for that role of head coach. So I guess I could see why, but it just seems so strange. I mean, I hate seeing when coaches get fired. It's not a good thing. When somebody loses their job, it's not a good thing. And to see it happen in like one season, one season and you're done, it's like, woo, that's just kind of rough. It's actually really rough. And then the next one that's very notable was the Raiders let go of Antonio Pierce. Kind of a weird situation in there as well. Last year the players were crying to have this guy as their head coach, crying to the owner. Once they got rid of McDaniels, they were crying, they were pleading, they were praying. They wanted Antonio Pierce. Well, you got Antonio Pierce, and you went 4-13. And you can argue the team was bad as well. The team was shit. The team had no quarterback. The team had no receivers. All they had was Brock Bowers. That was it. The entire team had nobody but Brock Bowers. Defense was bad. Line was bad. Receivers were not very good. They lost Devontae Adams. All they had was Brock Bowers, right? No quarterback. Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, just not good at all. And, it's just... Even when you could say like the Raiders were at their full strength in the season, they still did not compete well enough to win their games. And I guess you could say that part of that is because the head coach does not prepare them well enough. The head coach did not utilize his assets properly. He did not, they were like never really competitive, even at their full strength. So him being fired, also him winning games at the end of the season to I guess lose out on the draft order might have been like the last straw. But even then, like when you like paid attention to, Pierce and Mayo, like they both just did not seem like they had enough to. They were just both underqualified for that job of head coach. Just were not gonna be. We're just like underqualified. That really is like kind of like what it boils down to. Is like these guys just didn't look like they were qualified for the job at all. So, I mean, it is not a good situation, right? Not good whatsoever, but I mean, I don't know. It just, it really just does not seem like it was a good situation whatsoever. But nothing you can do. They're gone, and now they have to find new coaches, which, whether you agree or not with the one and done, I mean, if it's not going to work, if it's not working, you got to make a change, right? The worst thing you can do is look at something, be like, this isn't working, but let's keep them at it. Let's retain this person to see if they get better. But if you can tell, like, it's not going to get any better, and maybe moving forward would be the best solution, you kind of have to tip your cap at that, because at least they're making the moves and trying to correct the problem that they have. Now, away from the bad news, let's look at these matchups for the wild card weekend. We're going to have Broncos-Bills, which I think that the Bills are going to be better. They're going to beat the Broncos, even though the Broncos are pretty good. The Bills, I think, are just a better team. Josh Allen is just elite. Bo Nix has been playing very good, but this is Josh Allen we're talking about here. Steelers versus the Ravens. The Steelers are literally like running on fumes. They haven't won a game in 4 or 5 weeks. They lost all their games to get into the playoffs, which, I mean, you could say they just kind of escaped to the playoffs, snuck their way in, I guess I should say. But the Ravens are just a better team overall. And Lamar Jackson's having an MVP caliber season. And I think that the Ravens are going to win. Chargers versus the Texans. The Chargers are a very streaky team. Some weeks they don't have an offense. Some weeks they do. But so are the Texans. The Texans have been kind of, flaming through the past few weeks. And I do think that this week, though, wildcard weekend, is going to be different. I think that they'll be able to respond better now that they're actually playing for something, that they'll step up, and I think that the Texans will beat the Chargers. On to the NFC, Green Bay versus the Eagles. Jordan Love is pretty doubtful for this game. His hand is fucked up, and the Eagles are at full strength, which is scary, and I hate that. It's at home in Philly, so I'm going to go with the Eagles on that game. The Commanders versus the Buccaneers. The Commanders are better overall record-wise, but I do think that the Buccaneers are a more talented team than the Commanders. So I'm going to go with the Buccaneers on that one. And then finally, the Vikings versus the Rams. I mean, I'm a Rams fan, so you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Rams for sure. But I will say the Vikings are really, really good. Like, extremely good. So I am actually kind of terrified of this game because of how good the Vikings are. But this game is at home. It's going to be in Los Angeles. Prayers for Los Angeles because of all those damn fires. But this is going to be in Los Angeles. It's going to be an emotional game. It's going to be a crazy game, and if the Rams could pull it together for the city of Los Angeles that has been devastated by these wildfires, I mean, this should be a good game then. This should be a very good game, unless it gets postponed, which would suck, but I would understand why. But this is probably going to be it is going to be a very highly emotional game for the Rams in this one. This one's on Monday night, so it's going to be pretty crazy. So, yeah, and that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, and do all that good stuff. And yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys next week.